So one thing I don't like using is the word easy, because it's not easy.
Carsen Edwards posterizing James Harden.
First off, if you look at the score, we was getting beat really bad. Their strategy was to win like the whole thing, and I'm coming in trying to figure out like how to be a pro. You got some really good questions.
Man, I'm really prepared.
Yeah,
I was waiting for this interview. If you're German and love German basketball, we've got some exciting news for you. BasketNews now has German social media accounts, so follow basketnews.de on Instagram, X, Threads, and Facebook. Okay, so this is BasketNews Film Session, and our guest is Bayern Munich guard Carsen Edwards. Carsen, I will name you these career highs across the 4 leagues that you played in. 46 in the G League, 42 points in the NCAA, 32 in the EuroLeague, and 18 in the NBA. How would you rank these leagues in terms of the difficulty when it comes to scoring, from the top to the bottom, from the most difficult to the easiest one?
So one thing I don't like using is the word easy. I'll never use the word easy because it's not easy. I don't know, it sounds bad, but I would put G League as least difficult in terms just because of so much space. And then the game, I feel like the game wasn't so, no disrespect to the G League, but I think the game kind of was one of those games where everyone's just kind of made tired, just had a lot of games on the road. So, you kind of get to going and everyone's just kind of playing almost like pickup. So you have so much space and opportunity to score. It's up and down. It's not much long possession. So I'll probably put that. And then probably say college maybe after that. And I think that's just circumstances. I feel like I was in a position where the coach really set things up for me to be able to get my shots and put me in spots where I felt comfortable. And then, as scorers and people that are playing the game, once you kind of get in the zone, man, every shot kind of feels good. So then I was just blessed to be able to make shots after that. So I put college. And then honestly, I just put a tie. It's tough to put them, but NBA and EuroLeague, I kind of put them very similar. Because even though there's more space and the rules may be a little different in NBA, but it's just the guys are so athletic and so tall, and I could be playing point guard and still the point guard guarding me is going to be 6'5", and so that's different. And then in EuroLeague is obviously just as tough. The guys are athletic, so maybe the space is a little different. But just had that was another circumstance where I was able to kind of get the ball and be in position to shoot it.
I had the same question for Marcus Howard last year, and I was surprised that he said that the NBA is the easiest one, actually.
The easiest would definitely probably have to be the NBA. NBA, then G League.
I know, maybe he had some vendetta, with the NBA and his situation.
I mean, it's subjective. It's to whatever you feel, Circumstances means a lot, though. I do believe that, because you can be in a position where you feel like you can be able to help in a way of scoring more points or being more effective this way, but if that's just not your role, then you may never even reach that. So I feel like I was just put in positions in certain games where I was able to get going and get into the spots I want to be at. So
when you type Carsen Edwards on YouTube, you get this video as one of the most viewed videos on the platform. Can you break down this situation, Carsen Edwards posterizing James Harden?
First off, if you look at the score, we was getting beat really bad.
Down by 23.
So it's kind of one of those ones where if you're guarding, you wouldn't be like, oh, I got dunked on. But as a player that wants to save, oh, you dunked on him. That's kind of one of those, because it could go either way. It kind of just flew by. But I was just able to get to the lane, was able to finish it. We was getting killed this game. Oh my goodness, though. Yeah. So.
But I bet your friends loved this video the most as well.
My friends love it. My friends back home, my brothers, they love this. But you beat
Russell on the perimeter as well, James Harden. But
it could go either way if you look at it. So
you averaged almost 4 points in 72 appearances for Boston and Detroit. How would you define your NBA chapter? I
was on a team with so many good players, especially in Boston, and their plan and their strategy was to win the whole thing. And I'm coming in trying to figure out how to be a pro, and it was just really fast for me, I felt like, but it's still a blessing to be a part of it. I think it was cool.
Did you eventually figure it out how it works in the NBA?
I think so, but I think also just being a professional, figuring out just how long the season is with so many games, but still figuring out what you got to do routine-wise is best for yourself. I think that's the one thing I really started to learn towards the end of my time there, and still here to this in EuroLeague is still, you got to learn with so many games, so much travel, finding your way of being a pro and taking the ups and the downs with the season. So
get in the game with top basketball leagues. Place your bets with the highest odds for greater wins. Oh, score big with our exclusive bonuses. Bet now and get your bonus.
To me, the NBA is a lot about the timing and a right situation. If you had a chance to redraft yourself in 2019 and pick any team where you feel you could have the best shot at displaying your skill and potential, who it could be?
This is you got some really good questions.
Man, I'm really prepared.
Yeah,
I was waiting for this interview.
I think obviously being drafted by the Celtics was still a blessing, man. Like I'll never down that at all, because that was my dream, is to make it to the NBA, so to be drafted and them to take me. But I mean, I wouldn't say there's a specific team I would go to. I just think just a younger player that's trying to figure it all out, maybe going to a team where our goals isn't really to make the playoffs, it's just to see how many wins we can get, you know. And at that point, you have a young core where all of you guys are trying to figure it out and y'all learning together and making mistakes together. I think that would probably be the only difference. But at the same time, man, I think I learned so much from going to Boston and being around so many good players and vets.
What's the best tip you remember from Boston times, let's say?
I think, was it Brad Wanamaker was there when I was there, and he told me, was it him, I think, that told me just the importance of believing in yourself. I think having games where you don't play, having times where you play a lot and you can go 15 games not playing, but just being able to believe in yourself and believe that you still belong. I think that truly is a skill in itself, is that like going a long period of time where you may not play and still knowing that when I get on the floor, I belong, and I'll be able to, I can hang with these guys, I can play with these guys. I think that's one. But then also just being around a lot of the guys that's been in the league, just watching them have their own routine and how they do it every single day. I think that was two things I truly learned.
I'll mention your season averages across the 3 leagues you've played in. 24.3 in your third year in the NCAA, 26.7 in the G League 21-22 season with the Salt Lake City Stars, 20.4 in the EuroLeague with Bayern Munich right now. What are the great scorer essentials to you, and what also, how did you shape yourself as a player that you are today?
I'm just thinking, man, I understand that there's ups and downs to a season, you know, so I really try not to go too much on numbers, because obviously that can fluctuate throughout the season, having off nights, having rough stretches, and I understand just being able to be consistent and but then also be like, I almost like a threat, no matter what. Even if I have an off night, being able to be a threat. And I think just having the ball in your hands or being spacing the floor, like I'm in the far corner but they're having to pick her on the other side, but they can't help as much because they know I'm on this side, even if it's an off night. I think being able to be that, you know, considered that type of scorer, I think that's always a good thing. But then also I feel like, you know, I always believe just in the confidence aspect of just like feeling there's no bad shot, you know. So like whether that being finishing at the rim, take a dribble into the mid-range and knock that down, catch and shoot, pull-ups from 3, try to work on a floater now. So I think just being able to have it where you can mix it up and score at all levels, I think that makes you really tough to guard, and able to go left and right, obviously. But I just think just where it's like, bro, you can check off every part of the offensive scoring list, I think that makes it really tough. So
who do you think is the current best EuroLeague player?
I really don't like these type of questions because like
I had so many of them, so I will just cut it out.
Yeah, but I just think it's because like I could say one player and then they'll be like, oh, well, what about this player? And I'm gonna walk away from this interview and be like, dang, I could have mentioned this player, you know? So I think it's tough for me to say who's the best player. I think there's always a player on their team that, you know, is so helpful, but everyone has a role. I learned from a lot of players, man. I think I enjoy watching Mike James, watching him and go about the game because he's so effective, he can score, but then I've watched him just take over a game with passing. So I think that's one thing. Shane Larkin. I enjoy watching Kendrick Nunn score the ball. I think he's a high-level scorer, so I enjoy watching that too. There's just so many players, man.
When basketball fans in the U.S. Google, where's Carsen Edwards now, what would you say to those who are curious about your journey?
Playing a game I love at one of the highest levels in the world and being able to take care of myself and my family with it. So I think I'm at a good spot. I'm not content. I can continue to work and get better. But in a sense, I'm kind of at peace, you know, being able to play the game and just try to learn. I think that there just makes me happy every day, is knowing that I can come in and figure it out and learn and take steps forward and just play the game I love, man, you know? So.
Okay, Carsen, thanks a lot. I appreciate the film session.
No problem.